Oh my God!
I'm the bitter ex.
No, listen. By the way,
I admit it.
By the way, let me be clear though. You have every right if you are a Nets fan. Hating Kyrie is so fair.
Mm-hmm.
The dude really just made things a disaster. I mean, there's absolutely no way around it. He was bad in every way possible. Like, brought unnecessary attention, totally let you down expectation-wise, wasn't available, might have said things that offended you, talked like he was better than everybody. Like, you know, they built a whole team around him, then he wasn't there to play. Like, everything about it stunk. So I absolutely get that. But then I also get the other people who everything almost went so bad for Kyrie and people turned on him so much that then, Don, that also ingratiated him to some people who felt, and I get this too, they felt a desire to defend him and they were rooting that he would turn it around. So I understand both angles of it.
Because as bad as it got for Kyrie in Brooklyn, it was, at least you have to admit, Joe, it wasn't all his fault. A lot of it
No,
was.
not all of it.
But a lot of it. It was just, but again, it happens to the Nets, and I can understand. Now all of a sudden he finds, maturity when he goes to Dallas. He couldn't find it a couple of years ago when he was in Brooklyn. Listen, I get it, I understand it, but shouldn't come at the expense of the caller, Peter, right?
No, it's not
like good kid, very, very articulate call.
No, he put his points together. He felt it. He felt it deep in his loins.
I didn't get to ask my question.
And Don had a very important question that he wanted to ask, and now he can't. So, bad job, Joe.
Call back.
No, it's okay.
You know the movie Lean on Me with Morgan Freeman?
Sure, of course I do. You kidding me? That's Joe.
That was East Side. That was East Side High School. He might have went to that school.
We did find the Nets fan, though, guys. We found Joe.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we found one.
I got to pile on Joe now.
Not piling on.
What's his name again? Oh, Joe Clark.
Yes. I don't think Joe Clark was a Net fan. I don't know.
In the movie, you mean? Or the real person? He was a real person.
I don't know. Maybe he started following when they were at the Armory back in the day.
Yeah, big
New York Net fan with Julius Erving.
Yeah, sure. He's a big Dr. J fan. Let's go to Javier in Queens. Javier, is this the same Javier from yesterday? Hey, Javier.
It is. I apologize. I messed up the Mets player's name.
When you called Jorge Pablo, it was very troubling.
Yeah, and it's such a typical name to use, like as a kind of throwaway name. But
although, by the way, I just called him Jorge. I just called him Jorge, and his name is George. So he throw me right in there. Hit the buzzer again. Javier, what do you have today?
Well, I got to thank Don because he came to my defense right away. He's a good guy like that. But yesterday, my call was a little bit more about Luis Hill and going to the bullpen. And I quote, Don said, one of these guys can get hurt. And then, boom, Clark Schmidt is out. So I'm not going to talk baseball with you guys. This is an NBA.
It might have been happening as we were speaking, Javier. That's, but I was right. Guys get hurt. And he looks like he's going to be out like 4 to 6 weeks. So.
Yeah,
Cole might be back before
let's not talk about the Yankees ever again. With the NBA, Peter, I did tell you last week I felt good about Boston. I'm not a Boston fan, but even with the Dallas matchup, I think Boston should win this series. But I don't know if anyone has brought this up yet, but like the transformation of Jason Kidd, like Hall of Fame player to now looking like Mr. Magoo, like with his glasses and how old he's looking.
You know what?
Quite the transformation.
You know what? Javier, it's not Don. It's not a bad take for like for like a cool dude. It's an interesting take.
But that's on us, right? Because when he was making those runs in those back-to-back runs to the finals, that was that 01, 02. That's over 20 years ago. And even when he was a Knick, was over 10 years ago. People are allowed to get older. That's kind of on us, isn't it?
Yeah, but the look is just such a particular, whatever. Look at me. I'm more like Mr.
Well, I was going to say, kind of is Peter-esque, right?
I know. Look at me. I'm bald now and with glasses.
But is it possible that Peter's more styling than Jason is?
Oh, yeah. By the way, I hung out with a friend last night who I love. He's a great guy. His name's Howie. And great guy. And Howie is like moved to the suburbs in his mid-30s, right?
Mm-hmm.
and he's doing very well in his life. He's an agent, doing very well. And the look that he has put together is Don. It's like that. It's the middle-aged white guy in the suburbs look, where he wears like a polo-ish shirt and a sweater vest. Where every time you see him, no matter what time of day, it looks like he's headed to the golf course. Like there's no way. I love him. I love him. I saw him. I go. Immediately, I'm thinking, are you coming straight from the links? What's going on here?
Is he that guy that I described?
Which one?
The one's like, how about an Alabama Slammer? Meet you at the bar. High five.
Not at all. Not at all. No, not even a little bit that guy. He's like, no. He's not a wannabe cool guy at all. He's like
He sounds like he wants to be a suburb kind of.
But people. Well, I think you know what happens though. You don't have any friends like this, Don. Once they moved to the burbs and kind of gave up. I mean, my friend. He had 4 kids in like 5 minutes, right? Once they end up in that role, the only way to survive. Your life has changed so much that the only way to survive is to absolutely embrace that dad life 1,000%.
You got to adapt.
Yeah, I know people who have done that like they didn't want to hang on to any part of being young and cool, because if you hang on to any part of it, it almost hurts too much. Mm-hmm. So you just go out and buy the smoker, or the expensive grill and the lawnmower, and now all you are is suburban guy. Like you're just going to be that guy. We got people listening right now, and they're thinking, that is me. I bought in. I had 2 choices, fight it or buy in, and they bought it.
It's hard to do that because I grew up in the suburbs, so I don't know. Everybody's already in the suburbs mode. Alex, by the way, called back. He went to Don Bosco Tech. He went to my school.
The guy we hung up on?
Right. So you feel bad, Joe, now?
No, not even a little bit.
We could have had a moment, and the moment's gone.
Joe, by the way, you got to give Joe a lot of props though.
What, for being a punk?
Yeah, no.
Oh my.
For the cojones though. For the cojones, he's the producer on our show the least, and he shows up on a Friday, first day of the week, and just boom, firing.
Here's the true analysis of Joe, and Joe knows how I feel about him. A little too comfortable.
That's fair.
Little too comfortable, like Ty was. Remember, Ty was a little too comfortable.
He knows the
back
energy
in
of the show. Joe's a listener, so he gets it.
I know, but you know what? Just kind of know your role a little bit. Kind of ease into it. Just don't jump in with both feet. But you know what? Eventually he'll get there. Like Ty got there. So if he can get through this little bit, he's going to be in good shape.
All right. A lot more of your phone calls next. We'll go back to the Rangers in a bit as well. Peter and Don on the K Show on 98.7 ESPN New York. And yes.
Hard water makes it hard to keep your home looking like the work of art you've always envisioned it would be. Culligan softeners reduce hard water buildup and your cleaning time, transforming every drop, every splash, every rinse into the fine art of a long-lasting clean. With a Culligan water softener, revel in the breathtaking beauty of your home, just the way you've always pictured it. Culligan, water you love.
The next Powerball drawing is presented by Jackpocket. Jackpocket lets you order official state lottery tickets right on your phone. Just pick your numbers and place your ticket order. See a scan of your ticket right in the app. And get your winnings instantly. Go to jackpocket.com to get the app and get your first ticket free. Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app.
This is the moment.
That's entertainment.
You can't write this stuff.
This is the matchup you live for.
$50. Right now, you can go online and buy a hand-drawn portrait for $50 titled Andy Pettit, The Stare. 1. Growing up, you used to play a game called corkball using 1 penny and a bat.
First of all, how do you know all this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The YouTube video of you snagging a fan's popcorn has 1,169,839 views.
Took him a ball the next inning. I said, thanks for the popcorn, signed it.
It's me. Just ask my rescues, who are all very important members of my family. Your life can also be forever changed by adopting a shelter pet. And it's not just about happiness your pet gets from finding a loving home, but that which you'll get from bringing them into your life. The heroes at American Humane have been helping animals for more than 140 years, whether it's rescuing animals caught in disasters, ensuring the safety of animal stars on screen, or protecting our planet's endangered species. They go above and beyond to further their mission and make the world a kinder place for animals. Please consider adopting a shelter pet and support American Humane. You can learn more at AmericanHumane.org.
We all want to feel safe when traveling. That's why if you see something that feels suspicious, such as an abandoned bag or erratic behavior from a passenger, just call 911. You can call anonymously, and it's okay if it turns out to be nothing. Work together with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to keep our transportation facilities safe. Visit PANYNJ.gov to learn more.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Yes Network is now streaming on Fubo. Watch the Yankees and more of your New York teams. Streaming live on all your devices. Plus, over 350 top channels. Start watching at FuboTV.com.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Okay. It is the K Show. 98.7 ESPN. Beautiful, beautiful Friday. Tomorrow, I'll be in Philadelphia for the Roots Picnic.
What?
The Roots Picnic.
I'm not familiar.
You're familiar with the Roots, right?
I'm not sure. Musically, the band?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
They have a yearly festival called the Roots Picnic.
I did not know that.
Yeah, sure they do. Every year.
Where might this be happening?
In Philadelphia, where they're from.
No, but I'm saying where in Philly?
I think like Centennial Park.
Oh, nice.
That sound right? Like I think that's where it is.
What, Andrew?
Well, Andrew doesn't live in Philadelphia, so no. I can't imagine he'll be at the Roots Picnic, but I am going to try to get a cheesecake at Angela's if I can while I'm there. And I'm doing that tomorrow. Then we have Summer Jam at UBS Arena come Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. A lot going on this weekend, and the weather looks gorgeous for all of it, so I hope everyone's making plans. Don, you have any big plans for the kids with the nice weather this weekend?
Well, I've got Rangers tomorrow, but I will be taking Marco to his practice because his team's got a playoff game next week. So I'll take him to his baseball practice, and then on Sunday, they've got a birthday party.
Look at you, Don. Look at you. Dad life in full swing on this beautiful first weekend in June that we're going to have.
What happened to May, man? What happened to it?
Don, what happens to every month, dude? Just say what happened to June right now.
Because might as well, right? Before you know it, it's going to be the beach bash, right?
Well, no, really, right. Like, it's... I know you... you know what? Good point, Don. I'm glad you brought up the beach bash. So casually.
You didn't even know it was there, Don. Good for you.
Because it's coming up Friday, June 28th at Bar A. What does that stand for, Don?
Anticipation.
In Lake Como, New Jersey. Head on down the shore and join Bart and Hahn and the K Show starting live at noon. And appearances by DPH Ron Rothenberg, plenty of giveaways for fans in attendance, music from the Mark Ribbler Band, all brought to you by Open Road Auto Group, Flight by Yingling, New Jersey Lottery, Calander's Bakery, and General Plumbing Supply. You got to be 21 years of age to enter.
Got to talk to the band. I got to give them my list of songs because I can't do it unless they know how to play it. I want to keep the anniversary theme going, so I got a song in my head, basing it around an anniversary. Remember last year was the 50th anniversary of hip-hop?
Yeah.
So I want to try to do something in that vein.
We've got like 20-plus days to figure this one out, Peter.
Well,
we can put our heads together.
But we were just saying, Anthony, that the time goes by. Next thing you know, it's going to be the night before, and I'm going to be scrambling.
Well, no, I'm saying there's no time at all, but me and Peter can start brainstorming now what anniversary we could be thinking of.
Don, what if you and I together got up there and did a slow ballad duet?
Trying to think of what would.
I guess yes would just go to Yankee Classics or something.
What do you mean? Why would you say that?
Oh yeah, no, they get special approval to
yeah. What do you mean? It works every time. Yeah, somehow we do this every year. But
yeah, I don't
Don, what about Cheryl by Kid Rock and what about Picture by Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock?
I don't know if I'm familiar.
Really?
Well, I'm sure I am. I just can't think of it now.
Living my life in a slow hell.
Yeah.
Another girl every night at the motel.
Who's dressing up as Kid Rock?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and stay away from that.
Yeah, that's a tough one for you.
I'm sorry.
You know what? The Kid Rock is a tough one right now. Don, what about my love? There's only you in my life. The only thing that's right.
Little Lionel Richie action.
Are you kidding me? I've never done. I'll tell you what. I've never done a performance at the Beach Bash. I'm not like you. I'd get scared of it. I'd be a little less scared if it was a duet.
But you did. You did a Windhorst somewhere that was spectacular.
I was so nervous. I didn't want to do it. It was.
Why would you be nervous?
That was a tough period.
Done.
I don't know. You guys have the audio, I'm sure of that. The live Windhorst. It's in Windhorst at Sea. I didn't plan on. You guys. By the way, you guys forced me to do it. I didn't really agree to do it, and then the band just started playing, and you said, do it. Dance, monkey boy, dance.
How does Peter Rosenberg have stage fright?
Grab your pop. Grab your shirt. Grab your coat. No. And grab your pocket square. I guarantee you one thing. We could go anywhere. Yeah, that's a studio version.
Yeah.
It's hard, Joe. There's a lot of versions with all the.
That's not Joe. That's me.
Well, you're a failure then. What can I say?
Every day.
You know what?
I learn that more every day.
Joe, do me a favor. Handle the phone calls. Anthony, see yourself out. We'll see you on Monday.
All right, sounds good. See you guys later.
Sometimes got to start over again. But we did so many different renditions, and at the Beach Bash, but it wasn't great, Don. And you put in such a real effort. It's such a real performance. I don't know. I know that's very strange, the amount of the TV and radio that I do, and that doesn't make me nervous. It makes me excited. A little bit of nerves, but excitement. But the idea of I'm going to get on stage and sing, I don't know. It makes me, and both you and Michael have no nerves about it. Michael's voice is horrifying. I mean, Don's voice is bad, but in a good way. Meaning you don't try to sing with it. You're a power guy. You know what I mean? Right. You're not getting up there and trying to finesse it. You're just going to, in the words of Don LaGreca, jam it up. And that's what you do. Michael does he tries to sing, and it is what it is.
It makes you sick.
Hey, speaking of Michael, I heard that Mike Breen was on Pardon My Take and threw a little shout out towards the direction of the K Show.
Do we have that?
I don't know. Do we have the audio of that?
I saw it on social media. I did not listen to it.
And then I heard, how about that? Speaking of popular podcasts.
Here we go.
I heard not only do we have a shout out on Pardon My Take, but that on the SV Pod, the Scott Van Pelt vehicle, there's been a regular conversation between Scott and Stanford Steve where they've been fighting because Scott refuses to get a new phone, and his phone has been broken for a long time. And Stanford Steve's complaint has been he can only use speakerphone, which means that every Monday he has to listen to him talk to us for 25 minutes on speakerphone when they ride together on Mondays.
Oh,
so,
really?
So we're getting shout-outs down on some of the biggest podcasts in the world.
But the big thing, I forget who it was that sent it to me, but I got it from multiple places, was that I guess Michael was a guest of Rich Eisen's show?
Really?
And I guess it was a long-form thing because the complaint from people was that we were never mentioned during the show.
Wow. That's...
Like he said something like my show, whatever, never gave us a shout-out, never said the Michael K. Show. I didn't hear it. But he was on with Rich Eisen because he's out in California.
Oh.
And I listened to the whole thing.
All right.
It's not as dramatic as everybody's making.
Go ahead.
Well, then tell us.
He said on my show, we
that's
talk
it?
about, it wasn't like, yes, my solo show that I do by myself, all alone with no one. That wasn't. And Rich knows us. Rich has been on
but that's
tons of times.
still a bad job on my show. You're on a national platform. Why wouldn't you promote the show? Like, are we that out of sight, out of mind? Are we that, like, on I can't be bothered stage of Michael K's career with his own show? Like, my show, you don't shout it out? Like, part of the reason you do those gigs is to promote the show. Unless he's on there specifically talking Yankees. But if it's a sit-down with Michael about his life and what's going on, and then he mentions his show, Peter, would you ever do that? Would you say on Ebro in the morning, or you'd say, we were just on my show, the Michael K. Show. You say my show.
No. Can I tell you the truth? No, but for the record, I'm just putting it out there. We couldn't do that because we're not in the front seat. I have heard times where both Michael and Ebro in other situations have said, we. And will reference other people. And I've heard them both go for self and say mine. Because at the end of the day, it's theirs. That's the whole thing, Don. That's the crux of what the problem is. You see? I'm just here to point out I'm just pointing out the reality.
Not say my show. It's the Michael K. Show, but not his show.
I hear what you're saying, but do you hear what I'm saying?
I do, and it disgusts me to no end. Because
I hear you.
No, because listen. The name of the show, it's just it's either out of complete negligence or sheer ignorance. It's one of the two.
It's all
Whoever wants to take responsibility for either of those two things, do it. But for me to be a part of this show for 22 years and have somebody else say it's their show, hey. Say the word.
Listen, I know how I have these moments as well.
And listen, I love you, Peter, but you don't have a kick coming compared to me.
No. Not compared to, not on this one.
To what's happening in the morning show, but,
listen,
where are you? I'm here. Big New York moment. Rangers in the playoffs.
What are you doing?
Where am I doing?
The show.
What am I doing, Peter?
The show. The program.
I'm in a horse race today.
That's right.
You know how much easier? I'd win the race if I could take off. But I'd finish in fourth so I could do the show.
You're saying that if you took off the show and you trained a bit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I get a read of the track, get to know the horse, sit down with the driver, maybe break bread with him, get a strategy going. You know what my competitors are doing? They're probably here now. They're probably working the track. I'm doing the show. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to finish in fourth.
Why? Because you
doing the show.
Right. And why are you doing the show?
because it's our show.
By the way, guys, it was Breen shouted out K-Star on Pardon My Take.
Oh, so he didn't shout out our show either.
He was talking about where Bang originated from, and he said I would travel around in Fordham, going to the games, and with one of them being my good friend Michael K.
That's nice.
It wasn't like any show you've been on recently. It's like, oh yeah, Michael K's show, just with Michael. That didn't happen.
Oh God, no. Well, no. In that case, in the Breen case, I thought that he just shouted out the Michael K show, which I was good.
No, just the K-Star.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you for hey, way to turn down the temperature a little bit up there, producer.
Oh yeah, no, you got
Thank you. And and you wonder why I like Bob Raceman, right? And you make fun of me for liking Bob. And it has nothing to do with the fact that he does seem to skew nicer to me than the other ones, although we've had our moments. But if you notice, Raceman, whenever he mentions, like if he's ripping K or whatever, talking about the show, he always says with Don LaGreca and Peter Rosenberg. Now, that might be a shot at Michael. I don't know what his intent is, but I do appreciate the fact that we're not forgotten.
Yeah, Don, believe me, from your mouth to my therapist's ear, it's all there.
Does this come up in therapy?
Well, of course, and one day when I leave both shows, you'll know why. This is what. Listen, people, I got news for you. There's a reason Michael wants to have his name on the show. Right? And it's the same reason that you and I would want to have our name on a show. No one in the world says, I want to go through all the hard hours that it takes to make it in this business. I want to entertain. I want to skip all the events, the life events that I have to do. I want to reveal the personal things about my life to reveal to entertain our audience and connect. But I want to make sure I do all of it under someone else's thing without my name listed. Not one person in the history of broadcasting has ever done that. And anybody out there who's in the position of doing that, there's only a scale of happiness that it can have, and the highest can be it's cool, it's fine. That's as high as it gets. The best it can get is it's cool, it's fine. No one ever goes, oh, it's amazing. Can you imagine what I'd have to deal with if they listed my name on the show? Oh, my God. I would never want that. I would rather have other people on the street scream out other people's names. By the way, you mentioned Bob Raceman. When we come back, I got to mention Phil Mushnick, who to me pulled an all-time bad guy move. You may disagree.
Really?
But to me, it's an all-time bad guy move. I'll explain that. We'll get back to your phone calls next. It's the K Show with Don LaGreca and Peter Rosenberg right here on Yes and 98.7 ESPN New York.
When finding your perfect pair of glasses is made easy and affordable, you can spend your time doing other things, like riding bikes, jumping off cliffs, or just enjoying the view. But it all starts with seeing, and that's where Warby Parker comes in. Visit a store or try 5 pairs for free.
We started to use Square. As we moved from one location to 2, we quickly realised that we needed better data so that we could customise the curation for each of the markets. Originally, we started with the KDS. By adding the Square Online for the full grocery offering, we hoped to grow sales about 20-25%. And we used the loyalty program, which has definitely generated a lot of repeat business. Since onboarding with Square, we've tripled the business. It's been fantastic.
Let's explore your future with Udemy. You can learn how to program and build websites, study design and create logos, improve your presentation skills, and sell your ideas. With Udemy, you can learn practical skills from thousands of online courses taught by real-world experts. Explore your future. Udemy.
We started to use Square. As we moved from one location to 2, we quickly realised that we needed better data so that we could customise the curation for each of the markets. Originally, we started with the KDS. By adding the Square Online for the full grocery offering, we hoped to grow sales about 20-25%. And we used the loyalty program, which has definitely generated a lot of repeat business. Since onboarding with Square, we've tripled the business. It's been fantastic.
.gov/secure our world.
This is the matchup you live for.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and He's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and it's basically made for him. My dad can get through the wide doorways. When he is making our lunch, he can reach anything we need. He'll help me build tiny projects. Life is good here. Without Homes for Our Troops, we'd be living in a home that didn't have all these features that helped him.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives.
If they get a new house like this one, it'll help them do normal life. My dad's not just a hero, he's my hero.
Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Mel. Is now good for a quick catch-up on your plan?
Yes, now's great.
Refinance now or refinance later. Here are 10 tips to make your home.
Needless to say, your money could be working so much harder.
Yes, I'm thinking more long-term.
Interest rates will remain at current levels.
Great. We'll make that change to your plan and adjust as needed.
This helps a lot.
Bye, Mel.
Bye.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
For years, one company has battled to deliver business products the next day with no freight charges. Now, WB Mason, with their famous fleet of trucks and drivers, faces their biggest challenge, rescuing shipping and packaging buyers from expensive freight charges. That's right. Now, boxes, stretch film, and packaging tape are delivered the very next day at amazingly low prices. So, who do you call for fast delivery and no expensive freight charges? Who but WB Mason?
1 in 6 black men will be.
6:30. That is Dan Grasso. 1-800-919-3776. Number to call. I'm here at the Meadowlands because later tonight I'm going to be participating in the Broadcasters Derby, trying to snap a 4-game four race finishing in 4th streak, which is embarrassing, ridiculous, and I demand the best horse in this race. I want to win this thing, and I've never, ever finished other than 4 in a 4-horse race, Peter. So I'm finishing last every single year. It's got to stop. So if you're in the area, swing by, have some fun. I'm racing for the Ronald McDonald House, so
you love the Ronald McDonald
minimum. I'll get a grand out of finishing in 4th just for participating. But
wait, so how much could you get? How much could you get if you actually?
Don't hold me to it. I think it might be 5 if I win, and then everybody else gets 1,000. So give me a good horse, man. It's for a good cause.
God bless.
It's a beautiful night. You can bet some trotters. Enjoy the night out. You got the FanDuel. You can hang out and bet on some baseball if you want. Because that's all that's going on, really, unless there's some WNBA you want to bet on.
And you're right. It is 5,000. 5,000 for the winner, 1,000 for everyone else.
And I get the big cardboard check that I get to bring home and put in the man cave, and I've got 4 that say 1,000. It's time to get the 5th one, right? It just makes sense. The 5th one, $5 grand. 5, 5, 5. Come on, let's do it. Give me a horse. Give me a horse with a pulse. Give me a horse that's not going to be at Wild West City next weekend. The kids are going to be riding on in some kind of like live merry-go-round thing up the Wild West City, or going to some farm someplace to live out its remaining months. Give me a horse with potential. A horse that this show deserves.
By the way, hopes and prayers to that horse.
Because, yeah, whatever horse they're giving me,
thoughts and prayers.
Feel bad for it because its future is like none.
God, I wish. Is there any way FanDuel has this listed?
No, I just looked.
I'd love to
Come on, get with it, fan. What's going on? Or what about mine? BetMGM. What about Bet ESPN? What's going on there?
I don't think you can bet on charity races.
Why not?
Because it's for charity.
Oh, but whatever.
Because you're after harness race 3, and it just goes right from harness race 3 to harness race 4.
No guts.
Let's go back to the phone, shall we? Let's talk to Nick in L.A. Hey, Nick.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, you're welcome.
I was having a good day, but to be quite frank with you, it's ruined.
Oh, no.
What did we do?
I'm an aging suburban dad.
Yeah, it's okay.
I just turned 30. I'm losing my hairline.
Yeah.
I got a sweater vest last week. I got an indoor grill. And I called in twice in 1 week to a sports talk show in the middle of the day.
But embrace what you are, man. There's nothing wrong with that. You're in L.A. What are you going to be doing? Going to the whiskey? Hooking up? Just be what you are.
I guess you're right. I might need some therapy. I might need the BetterHelp code. I was going to ask
Peter.
I was going to ask a quick hockey question. I was curious to know, it seems like people are super excited about the Rangers in New York, but I was curious, Don, what you thought about sort of the national interest in hockey this year compared to previous years. Thanks, guys.
Well, it feels like it's up because you got ESPN involved. And I'm not saying that because it's our company, but I just think there's always more interest when you have TNT and what they've been able to build up with the NBA and having ESPN. And last night, over 2 million people watched that game last night. So I think it's good. I mean, now it's always going to be, compared to the NBA that had 6 million. But I think it's kind of finding its place and it's growing and the ratings are all up. And I just think there's something, Peter, to a cachet of being on ESPN, and then tomorrow's game is going to be on ABC. And that's kind of where it needs to be. I mean, NBC did a great job, but I don't know a lot of people that had, NBC Sportsnet in their rotation of checking things out back in the day. But ESPN, people probably flip it around, pop on ESPN. Oh, there's a hockey game on. Oh, it's a playoff game. I'm going to watch it. It's 1-1 in the third. I'm going to watch that. I just think it really hurt the NHL, Peter, that they were literally the only professional sport that was not on ESPN. And now they're there, and I think they're thriving, and I think it's growing. And you lose the Rangers, you're going to lose a lot of interest because there's Ranger fans all over the country. But the ratings for both have been good. TNT's been getting good numbers as well. And not bad with a Canadian team in the conference final.
Let's go to, actually, no, let's not take any of these. Let's get into the 5 o'clock hour because we got people lined up to talk about what was a really tough Ranger loss last night and a really monumental game tomorrow night. I feel like, Don, there's a little bit of an energy shift that you can feel over the last couple of days, a lack of belief. And this series could still be far from over. We'll talk about that, take your calls next. But first, Don, talk to me about cars.
The Michael K.
Tired of pointless meetings?
So in this meeting, we're going to plan the next meeting to schedule other meetings.
There is nothing more pointless than unproductive meetings.
What about watching grass grow?
Nope.
What about pushing the crosswalk button repeatedly?
Nope.
What about bringing sand to the beach?
Nope. Thanks to ClickUp, now all of our communication and work is in one place. It allows our team to collaborate remotely and finish projects faster.
ClickUp, all your work in one place.
So Home Chef has a new menu designed specifically for families, which is my favorite thing. I love that Home Chef helps me solve dinner for those nights where I just do not have the bandwidth to figure out what I'm doing. So I love to have these on option in the fridge waiting for me. There she is. So I got the teriyaki glaze on the meatballs and got some broccoli here. Oh, now Zoe wants to be in the picture.
Switch to Square. and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Start with our point of sale. More than a system, it's the brain of your business. Train your staff in minutes and connect your POS to a KDS to handle orders ASAP. And with Square Banking, get a loan quickly for everything from small repairs to the biggest dreams. Gain time and peace of mind with restaurant tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
There are a lot of us now, and it means so much when we can all be together, especially when we can do something good, like our yearly service project. We're also running a t-shirt fundraiser through Custom Ink to help raise more money and awareness for the cause. Our t-shirt fundraiser with Custom Ink makes it easy to share our campaign and help our community, and their design services team helped us get a design we love. I'm proud that we can make a difference together as a community. Come together for a cause. Get started today at customink.com.
Away makes luggage and bags that make packing, compressing, cinching, zipping, sliding, and going easier than ever. Away.
Beautiful ladies, loving it. Beautiful family, jealous. Bride is the best day of your life. There's that smile. That's a keeper. Let's get the lucky men in here, huh? Oh. Ah, we got it. Groom's bed. Okay.
Some days are just too important for a trashy suit. Rent from theblacktux.com.
3-month trial pack if appropriate at TriRexMD.com.
Do you spend hours maintaining your gutters? Save that time with LeafGuard's maintenance-free system. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS. Mesh filters sit on top of your gutters, building up debris and eventually clogging. Then they need to be cleaned too. Honestly, your home should have been built with LeafGuard gutters. LeafGuard's wraparound hood deflects debris and keeps water away from your home. The one-piece seamless system is strong, 20% thicker than average, and built to last. Plus, LeafGuard is guaranteed to never clog for as long as you own your home. Right now, get a complete LeafGuard system for only $99 down, $99 a month, and $99 installation. You'll also receive a $100 Visa gift card with a free gutter inspection and in-home estimate. Damage from clogged gutters can cost you thousands. Never worry about clogged gutters again. Don't wait, you've still got time. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS today. That's 1-833-2-GUTTERS.
Big season. More reasons to say yes. Wow. Yes to the ultimate viewing experience. Aaron Judge crushes one. What a win for the Yankees. The Yes app. Download now.
It's ESPN New York 98.7 on this Friday, May 31st. Beautiful, beautiful day in the New York tri-state area. Peter and Don. Don, let's get right to it. A really tough loss again last night for the New York Rangers. They find themselves down 3-2. And as I said to you a few minutes ago, it just feels like their lead in this series was a lifetime ago when really it was just half a week. But what do they have to do to make this thing happen and at least extend this to a Game 7, knowing that it appears like they are not the stronger of these two teams?
Well, especially even strength. And when they're 5-on-5, they just can't generate the offense necessary to give you the confidence to believe that they're going to be able to win 2 in a row. What they're going to need to do is what they've been doing all year long, and that's have the special teams carry them. Now, it's no way to live, but you're going to get your power plays, and you got to cash in on them. And they are 2 for their last 14 after being on fire for most of the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. And Carolina started to figure them out late in that series, and then they've just got the 2 power play goals so far in this one. They're going to have to take advantage of it, and they're going to have to make some adjustments. I don't know if you can continue to trot out that same top unit with Trocheck, Panarin, Fox, Kreider, and Zibanejad and just hope that it's going to work. Your best player in this series has been Alexei Lafreniere. He has shown the ability to find space. He's shown the ability to finish, get in front of the net, and I think that you should need to apply that to the power play. Laviolette has made adjustments 5-on-5. He's double shifting Panarin. He's double shifting Lafreniere, changing things around. Well, you know what? None of it's working. But what they need to do is make those same adjustments on the special teams. I would put Gustafsson at the point. I would put Lafreniere on that top unit and see if that gets something going on the power play, because that seems to be where, A, they get a lot of their goals, and B, that seems to what really generates, I think, and kind of spurs them on. You know, I go back to a few of the wins that I called late in the season, one of them against the Panthers in March. They're down 2-0. Fox scores a power play goal. They get momentum from that. They become the better team, and they end up winning that game in a shootout. That's what they got to do. They've got to be able to build that kind of momentum. That's the adjustment I would make, and I think it would work. I need to see more of Lafreniere in those types of situations and just get a win. As much as they've been dominated, all these games have been close. In effect, they've all been just like one-goal games. You know, last night they lost 3-2, but there was a 1-1 game midway through the third. They were on the power play. 7 minutes in, when Mikkola took that penalty, that Ranger team in the regular season scores on that power play, gets an empty net goal, wins the game. But they fail 0 for 3, give up an even strength goal, and they end up losing the game. So that's the adjustment I would make. Steal a game. They've already proved they can win 2 in a row in this series. They've proven they can win down in Florida. They haven't been blown out. Just find a way to get to Monday. Put some pressure back on the Panthers. Get the Panthers thinking, my God, this team just won't go away. They just keep getting up. And that's what you got to try to do. One game, try to get it. Let's play Monday.
A lot of troubling things from last night's game and from the last couple of games, Don, but giveaways, Rangers 12, Panthers 1. That is just going to be a problem. Carelessness with the puck will lose your series.
You know, the one thing that's great, I mean, it happens in all sports, is like everybody's all over like every play, every missed call, every missed opportunity. And you see, I saw it myself, Roslovic spins to the right wing, trying to buy some room, loses the puck. Kakko behind the net, trying to find somebody open, loses the puck. And these are like unforced errors. These are not the puck being poked away by a stick check or you being driven out of the play by a check. They're just losing the puck because there is that, I don't want to say fear, that there's that nervousness everything's got to be perfect because they have so little time to make decisions in this series. And you're starting to see unforced errors because when they do find some time, it's like there's a panic. There's a panic offensively, trying to create, trying to get that shot on goal, and there's clearly a panic defensively, trying to get the puck out of the zone. God, how many times have we seen, Peter, Rangers win a faceoff, puck's pinned in the corner, and somebody will fling it up in the air, and then the Panther will be right at the blue line, glove it down, and keep it. Or they'll get it out of the zone, but only a few feet out of the zone, Panthers tag back up, go right back into the zone again. You know, or a panic move where they're able to finally have an angle to skate it out or to kind of pitchfork it up high so that they can get back, and they panic and they throw it too hard out of the zone, results in an icing, and it comes right back. There's too much panic in their game right now because there's just so little time to think, so little time to move. This Panther team is just so suffocating, but we know they've got the talent. They've won games already here. Hopefully Peter can make the adjustments and just give us a game 7. And then once you get there, I guess anything can happen.
Let's go to the phones and see what the people want to say. Let's start with Bob in Maplewood, talking Rangers. Bob, what do you got?
I'm a big believer in you have to have 4 lines, and each line has to have its own chemistry. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a couple of adjustments that could be made with the Rangers right now to restore some of that chemistry they've had in prior playoff series. One is when you lose a guy like Vesey, plugging in Rempe into that 4th line does nothing for the chemistry. And when you do that, it keeps Goodrow off the ice more, who's a guy in the playoffs you need to have on the ice. So I would stick Brzezinski, who's a little closer to Vesey's style, into that line, and I would bench Rempe. The second thing is on the Zibanejad line with Kreider, they've slotted in all sorts of different wingers to go with those guys. And they really need someone who could be a sniper and who has some decent size to play that third person on that line. And they got a guy sitting who played really, really well in the AHL, had a few debuts in the NHL, who's sitting in the stands, and I would give a chance right now to, and that's Othman.
It's a lot to ask the kid to step into Game 6 of a conference final. It really is. It's not unheard of. Kreider did it back in, 2010 in that Washington series, made his debut. It's not unheard of. He is available to play. That's just a lot to ask, Peter. Isn't it, a kid to jump in there and play the top line in an elimination game? God, there's got to just be a better way than
you have to have an immense amount of faith to do something like that.
You got to believe, and I can't imagine. But listen, he's there, right? So he's an option for them. So they obviously believe in the kid, but there's believing in a kid, and then they're throwing him to the wolves. And that's a lot to ask. Now, I brought it up earlier in the show. I would have Brodzinski play right wing on that fourth line. I would move Lafreniere to the first power play unit. The other thing that gets talked about, Peter, especially since they didn't play great yesterday, would you ever think about breaking up the Trocheck line? It's been their best line all year. And do you make a move moving Lafreniere? I don't know. I would rather do that than to throw a kid in that type of situation. And since it's never worked, Peter, you know how many wingers they've tried there with Zibanejad and Kreider? They tried Blake Wheeler. They've tried Jimmy Vesey. They've tried Capo Caco. They go out and they trade for Jack Roslovic. They've tried so many different people. None of it seems to work. So then you start to think about, should you break up Zibanejad and Kreider? Maybe they have to stop playing with it. I mean, obviously, these are things that you maybe you think about in the offseason. Maybe you get desperate and try to do it if you're down in the game tomorrow. But, God, without those drastic things, they're still 2 wins away. But, Peter, I don't know if I can throw a kid into that situation. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask.
I always just find it to be interesting, the decision on whether or not you do something that drastic. In some ways, it can fire people up. In some ways, it can feel like desperation that you don't believe. It's a tough spot for Laviolette to be in the decision-making seat. Let's go to Kevin in Staten Island. Hey, Kevin.
What's going on, guys? Don, I'm a big fan of game misconduct. I think you and Anthony do a great job.
Thank you.
You mentioned bringing Lafreniere up to power play 1. I think that you said take him out for Kreider. I think Kreider's a little too valuable with what he provides there. I think Mika, I don't think he's been entering the zone well on the power play. I think Lafreniere has been phenomenal entering the zone the whole time. And Mika's, bottom line is Mika's one-timer has not been working. 2022, that run, he was scoring them like crazy. He had like 20 points in 20 games or something. He was a point-per-game player. It's not the same. His one-timer isn't the same. I think Lafreniere should replace Mika on the power play.
It's tough because you like the ability to have somebody to win a face-off if Trocheck gets kicked out of the dot, so you kind of lose that. Hey, we've had this conversation on the road. Dave and I talking about it with different people. Who do you take out of the number 1 power play spot to put Lafreniere in there? Is it Kreider? Is it Zibanejad? Is it Panarin? I just think Zibanejad's too valuable with that one-timer. I think he's too valuable winning face-offs. Kreider, I know he's big, but the deflections haven't worked. It just hasn't happened yet for him. But you got to figure it out, man. He's too valuable an offensive player to not get that opportunity on the power play. And I know chemistry is a main thing, but it's not working. They're 2 for their last 14 on the power play. That second unit doesn't get a lot of time. Now, does that mean that they've got to maybe be more reliant on that unit? Maybe, Anthony, do you start with the number 2 unit when you get a power play and have the first unit get less time? I mean, that's also something that can be an adjustment as well, but...
They do that on the third one, Donnie? I thought they did.
Yeah, no, they did.
Because Fox was one that drew the penalty, right? And that line was essentially gassed. So rather than kind of split everybody up,
it usually happens if the majority of the guys on the number 1 unit, like if that top line with Kreider and Zibanejad are on the ice for a while, but when the penalty's committed, and then the other unit will jump on. But I don't know how to do it. I really don't. But I still have to get Lafreniere on that top unit somehow, some way.
Let's go back to the phones, Donnie Pucks, and go to Charlie in Queens. Has some thoughts. Charlie, what do you got?
How you doing?
Good, man.
Listen, I want to talk about the Rangers power play. I watched just about every game this year. And where I noticed that earlier in the season, even in the first couple of rounds of the playoffs, when they won the power play, they would make 1-2 passes and a shot. Now they seem like they're making 7-8 passes, and by the time they're ready to shoot, Florida's all over them because they're very quick skaters. Maybe they should go back to just the 1 or 2 passes and the quick shot. It seems like they're looking for the perfect shot every time they come in. And also, I just want to say about when you said about meeting people, celebrities, I met DMC when I was a New York City cop. I met DMC. I stopped them, me and my partner, one night. They were just starting out. They were young kids. And we stopped them for going through a red light. And we played a joke on them. We told them they gave us a nice rap. We let them go, and they rapped with us. They gave us a rap, and we let them go. But they're really nice kids. This was back in the early mid-'80s. And
wow, that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
They were really nice kids. But that's what I want, Don, your opinion about that, what I said about the power play, because I'm curious to know if you agree with me.
I agree with you. I agree with you a lot. I mean, shoot the puck, Barry, right? That's always getting thrown out there from way back in the day when Barry Beck wouldn't shoot the puck. It happens in hockey all the time. I don't know what psychological thing happens when you're not scoring offensively. Instead of just throwing shots at the net and like a poke and hope mentality in pool, we're waiting for the perfect shot, waiting for the perfect lane to open up, and you're wasting opportunities. You're wasting time. I've called my fair amount of hockey recently, and I can't tell you how many goals do not go in clean. They deflect off a skate. They deflect off a body. There's a rebound that's juicy because it didn't get through. There's no such thing as a bad shot to me. I've seen so many bad goals because of just bad angle shots. Just get the puck to the net. But it's like you have the yips. You're waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect shot. And it's Peter, if it was about zone time, their power play would be spectacular because they spend almost the entire 2 minutes in the zone. But it might only result in maybe 4 or 5 attempts and maybe only 1 shot on goal. They've got to be able to up the ante there. They have to.
By the way, from that phone call we got, by the way, today's DMC's birthday. How you like that? You want to guess?
61?
61. I'm going to guess. I think it's a really good guess. I'm going to guess 58. Oh, nope, 60 years old.
How old?
60 today.
So I win because
That's
I was
right.
under.
That's right. His name is DMC, the all-time great. Let's go to, and a really lovely guy. Let's go to Mike in Summers. Hey, Mike.
Hey guys, how you doing? So I know Don didn't want to get into the impact of officiating on the series. I just have 4 quick points regarding its impact, so I'll rattle them off and then let you guys respond. So first, Jimmy Vesey, Lomberg took him out after 2 cheap shots, and there were clear interference from the clips I've seen.
Yes.
There were no calls, and Lomberg did a similar thing to Mika. I think it was in game 1, and I don't know if that has any impact on why Mika's been so bad, but anyways, next point. Lack of calls on the Panthers when they're on their forecheck. They have obviously really strong guys. You see Bennett gets a lot of cheap shots when he gets in there on the forecheck. But it's easier to forecheck when you can get away with a lot of hooking, slashing, holding, and it's just not getting called. 3, constant flopping with, giving them free power plays. And Val Kett made a point on this where they do it all the time, and Maurice talks to the refs a lot and works them and gets these calls, and I think we've seen that. And then last, game 4, we got dominated, but we had a chance to win that game, and then in the last minute, there were 3 clear penalties called, or not called. So we had the hold on Mika and the trip on Kakko, which negated a 2-on-1. And then, who was it? Reinhardt sucker punched Trouba right in the face, right in front of the ref. No call. Then they go into overtime. We hook Barkov, clear as day, but they call it. So my problem is the inconsistency, whistles away in the third, and then not to start overtime.
Well, the one thing I'll say about the VC play and the Zibanejad play, I was calling both of those games. It was away from the play. Now, should they have still seen it? You've got 2 pairs of eyeballs and officials. but it's away from the play. So that's going to help. Now, the Kako, I know you slowed it down. When we called it live, Peter, we felt like, how did he fall? Kako kind of made a move with the puck around. It kind of felt like maybe he went down himself. Then you see the replay and you slow it down. It's like, yeah, it looked like he got tripped. But if you got to slow it down, then I give the officials the benefit of the doubt because they're watching it in real time. Listen, has the officiating been great? No. But the reason I don't like to go there, Peter, is because I'm sure on a Florida show, after a loss, they can give you a bunch of replays on what the Rangers are getting away with. They both had 3 power play opportunities. Your power play's 2 for 14. So, I mean, you really don't have a kick coming where it seems like the more power plays you get, then you don't cash in on them. And then the one power play that really cost them a game was the one in overtime, and that was a clear penalty on Wheeler. So I go back to the NHL Live days when I did it with the great E.J. Raddick. And we were doing the whole league, Peter. And we would get emails and we'd get phone calls from every fan base that was in the playoffs. And their first thing was complaining about the officials were against them. I'm not saying the Ranger fans are wrong, but I can't get caught up in that being the reason that we're in the situation that they're in. Their power play has struggled. Some of these things have been away from the play. And I got to be honest, the penalties that they have committed have been penalties. So they've got to do a better job with that. But you've got to find a way to be able to overcome that stuff. Believe me, Peter, you want to get into conspiracy theories. If you're the league right now, the last thing you want are the Panthers to go back to the Stanley Cup final. You've got an original 6 team. You know how sexy it would be for the Rangers to be in a final against against Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers or the Dallas Stars in that kind of market? That would be amazing. Yeah. You know, and to get a 5th consecutive year of a Florida team going to the final. So, listen, Kelly Sutherland's had a really bad playoffs. I don't think he's been a great official all year. And I hear what the Ranger fans are saying. I just can't get bogged down on it, man. It takes the Rangers too much off the hook. I'm sorry. I'm watching what I'm watching, and I'm seeing the Panthers being a better team. I'm not seeing the Rangers getting jobbed. I'm sorry.
I mean, do you take if you're a Ranger fan, is there a silver lining with Lafreniere and how good he's been in this series?
Oh, the whole
playoffs
season.
Generally?
The whole season, he has become everything they hoped he would be as the first overall pick. Listen, it's not his fault that the draft wasn't great, all right? He could still turn out to be the best player in that draft, and he is becoming a star. And that's the thing. I don't want to, talk in a post-mortem tone, but there's no reason to believe this Ranger team can't pick itself back up and get right back here next year. You've got a great coach, relatively young team, tremendous goaltender. Lafreniere's only getting better. It looks like you found something in Matt Rempe. He's only going to get better. I think there's a lot of reason to get excited about this Ranger team moving forward. So they're not dead yet. But this is not a last chance saloon for them. It's not. They could be right back here over the next couple of years. I won't say it's as evergreen as what the Knicks might be, but it's close. I don't see any reason why this team can't be back here trying to go after the cup over the next couple of years with this unit.
Let's go to Joey Clams.
How you doing? How you feeling? Ninja the Peppers. What's up? What's up, Petey? What's up, Don?
What's up?
Happening?
Joey, I was surprised when Don and I had our wonderful dinner at Rayo's with our friend Gary the other day. I was surprised we didn't see you at Rayo's.
Yeah.
You know, I'm smoking a Stogue.
Oh, Don. Yeah, Don, when you were in Florida, where'd you go eat? Did you go to Tremonti's?
No, where did we go? It was a villa. I can't think of the name of the place. It was a really nice Italian
you were in Fort
place.
Lauderdale?
Yes.
Yeah. You had the grilled boop, the octopus.
Yes, it was very good.
Hey, Don, it's a corporate crowd at the Garden. And when you could hear the guy singing the national anthem, that's all corporate. You could even see down there when they go through the crowd, people are dancing. And this is the playoffs. You don't dance. When we were sitting up at the Blues, section 416 in '94, you couldn't even hear the national anthem, and everybody was nervous. And another thing, Donnie. We are horrendous breaking out of our zone with the puck. Yep. Horrendous. Standing around waiting. You got to be quick. You got to fly out of there. You got to fly out of there and break out quick.
It's that
we can't
first
even
pass,
get to the red
Joey.
line and dump it in. We can't even get a clean change. So what happens? They come in our zone, keep us there. They're swarming like sharks, and our legs are getting tired, and we take stupid penalties.
Yeah, I mean, too many passes in the skates, too many passes misses guys. That first pass out of the zone. Dave Maloney always says it. You cannot skate as fast as the puck. When you complete passes, you can move up the ice in the blink of an eye. Panthers are doing it, the Rangers aren't. And how many times that first pass just doesn't connect and it's an icing, or it's in the skates, it bounces the other way. Everybody's moving one way, the puck goes the other way, and then all of a sudden the Panthers have an on-man rush. They just got to fine-tune it just a little bit. That's the crazy, like, I like every other day, Peter. I really do. I hate, like, when the NBA would go on these, like, elongated 2-3 days off between games and all that. I mean, the travel's relatively easy. It's only, what, a 2.5-hour flight down to Florida. Playing every other day is great, but you don't get really any kind of time to practice. And so everything you're trying to fine tune is in the video room.
Yeah, and all the fly.
A little bit during warm-ups. You don't have, you know, if you got problems, all of a sudden you get like 4 days off during the regular season. You can practice, you can work on it, and it's really difficult to break some of these habits in the playoffs because you're playing every other day, and with the travel, it's just so hard to get a chance to really get a good practice in.
All right, we have so many more calls to get to, including to Artie, who wants to make a bet with me.
Oh,
and,
nice.
of course, a lot more Rangers calls. We have a Point God coming up. We have an ENN at 6 o'clock. And we have Don talking to you about cars.
Get more in a new Mazda.
The Michael Kay Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. Innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions. Telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org.
Make this a summer to share in our powerful new Kia K5 with available 290 horsepower and sleek modern interior. Or the fun, tech-forward Forte, recommended by Consumer Reports. Plus, every Kia is backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. During the Kia Summer Sticker Sales event, lease a specially tagged 2024 Forte LXS for $169 a month.
I'm Mark, and I live in Vero Beach, Florida. My wife and I have 3 children. Ruth Ann and I like to hike. We eat healthy, we exercise, and I noticed that I wasn't as sharp. My wife introduced me to Prevagen. So I said, yeah, I'll try it out. I noticed that I felt sharper. I felt like I was able to respond to things quicker. And I thought, yeah, it works for me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
Oh, what's up? You watching the game?
or maybe the one later. Put a little BetMGM action on it, and now any game becomes the game. When you got overs and unders, you're in it every time they throw the ball, kick the ball, dribble the ball. Maybe it's not even a ball. Who needs a ball? Now that bet's got you watching every inning, half, round, period, set, hole, a lap. Right from the edge of your seat.
What's the score of the game?
The new Hyundai Elantra with America's best warranty. There's joy in every journey. Lease an Elantra for only $189 a month or get 3.89% APR or up to $1,500 bonus cash. Hurry, offers end soon.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael Kay Show. The Yankees winning another series is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. The Yanks were chasing one in the fourth when Aaron Judge smacked his 18th of the season. A two-run shot to seesaw the Yankees out in front, and he also ties Gunnar Henderson and Kyle Tucker for the Major League lead in dingers. It stayed 2-1 until the seventh. That's when the Yankees put up a crooked number on the board to take control, a 5 spot to be exact, and 3 of them coming here on a bases-clearing triple by Juan Soto. Carlos Rodon was the definition of quality, and then the bullpen did their job for the last 3 innings. Michael Tonkin gets Willie Calhoun to end it by flying out to Alex Verdugo in left in the bottom of the 9th. The Yankees win another series, becoming just the 7th team in franchise history to win 14 of their first 18. Tonight, they begin the last leg of their first West Coast swing of the season when they face the Giants. Marcus Stroman is first in line for the Bombers, with Cody Poteet filling in for Clark Schmidt, who was sent to the IL yesterday with a right lat strain. Schmidt will not throw for at least 4 to 6 weeks. And Nestor Cortez starts the finale on Sunday, which is Lou Gehrig Day. We have all 3 games for you right here on Yes over the weekend. Our coverage tonight starts with the pregame show at 9:30. Tomorrow, batting practice today gets things kicked off at 9 p.m. And then Sunday, BPTV commences our coverage at 3 o'clock. It's the Yankees and Giants all weekend long, right here on Yes. Streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
What's that?
But what an interesting story that Gable Steveson, the Olympic gold medalist in wrestling, one of the greatest college wrestlers in NCAA history, after a failed run with WWE over the last couple of years, I guess that's how you have to describe it, is apparently signing with the Buffalo Bills, according to his agent.
I saw that.
He is going to try to join Bob Hayes as the only other athlete to win a Super Bowl ring and an Olympic gold medal. Really interesting.
That's pretty cool.
He had a lot of potential, I thought, in WWE. At first, when he got there, I'll be honest, I thought he just doesn't have the drive. There was an energy about him that I sensed he didn't want it. And like the level to which you have to want that is crazy. And then I ran into him a while later when things were sort of fading for him, and he seemed much more like he wanted to happen. But I guess it was a little too late. Maybe he'll make it happen in football. But he's an incredible athlete. But I just thought that stood out as interesting. Let's go back to the phone lines. Artie, I teased it. Artie's in Astoria. He wants to make a bet with me. What do you got, Artie?
Yeah, hi, Peter. How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Hi, Don. All right, I'm doing fine. Don, all the compliments in the world. Everybody's been telling you how great you are with the games. I know everybody's talking about the Rangers. I really hope they win. I'm a Knicks fan, but I had to call Peter because, obviously he's a big Celtic fan. And I don't know if this is allowed on the radio station, but I was willing to make a wager with Peter.
Okay.
On against Boston with Dallas, and I was ready to take Dallas. So I don't know what the procedure or policy is with the radio station on that.
You mean making a bet about this? You want to take Dallas against me and the Celtics? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think we can make a friendly gentleman's wager.
Okay.
What are we thinking?
So what would you suggest?
25 racks. No. What do you like? What do you want? What do you think Dallas is going to do?
I think they're going to beat the Celtics.
All right. Well, the Celtics are the favorite in the series. I'll bet you straight up, Artie. And if you come on out to our beach bash, you can have one adult beverage on me if you get it right. Okay, how about that?
Okay. What if I get it wrong? What can I send you?
If you get 10 grand,
Lock it in.
Pretty good.
We'll figure it out, Artie. But either way, I appreciate it. You're taking Dallas. I'm taking the Celtics straight up. I do like the Celtics to win this series. I saw my cousin who's a huge Celtics fan. Celtics in 5. Nah, I do not see Celtics in 5. I
They
think
play with their food.
I think this, and by the way, but I don't even know if they're going to have the option to play with this food. I don't think it's good. You know what? Dallas isn't food. This is a beast. This is a living, breathing beast that the Celtics have to play. Guys, I'm expecting a 7-game series between these two. I think it's going to be awesome. I'd be shocked if it's less than 6 games. So I'm really excited. Come on, you have to be impressed. I know Minnesota. It really turns out when you look at it, and everyone's talked. Don made some great points before we got on the air. You talk about the Celtics and their road to the finals. A lot of questions about who they beat. I don't know. Did Dallas really beat world beaters? Were OKC
Not in the West.
Were OKC and Minnesota really that great? The Minnesota story is fantastic, but you saw the egg they laid last night when they had a chance to get back in the series at home. They get absolutely destroyed. So I don't know that the Celtics path was much weaker than Minnesota. And sometimes the road to the finals is amazing. Sometimes the finals amazing. I think this year, Don, we're going to get an average playoff with a fantastic final.
I think you're right. I think that's where we're headed towards.
Let's go to Kenny in Easton, Pennsylvania. What do you got, Kenny?
Hey, what's happening, fellas? Yeah, so I'm going round and around with the Rangers. Don, like you're saying, conspiracy theory. Yeah, the NHL would love to see Rangers, Oilers. But to your point, I've been thinking about it. I'm a good, long-time Ranger fan. The Rangers have never won a Game 5 Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
Never, ever.
I saw that stat. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, so, you got that, and you got to, listen, I've been thinking, maybe Gallant, maybe it wasn't Gallant, and Labs is the same way. I think the Rangers, I just think they're too soft, bro. I mean, it's become
you know what it is, Kenny? I mean, soft is obviously a pejorative word. They're a finesse team. And Panarin's a player, outside of the check that he had in that series against Washington on TJ Oshie. He's not a physical player. He's a finesse player. Zibanejad, he's got some size, but he's a finesse player. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Connor McDavid's not hitting anybody. He's a finesse guy. You got to try to make sure your physical guys are physical, and Barclay Goodrow is, and Jacob Trouba is. But it is crazy about the stat in Game 5s of the Eastern Conference Final. And I wanted to bring this up, Peter, because everybody's looking for the symmetry of 30 years ago in '94 and all that. Well, the Rangers were down 3-2 to the Devils, and they came back and they won. And in that Game 5 at the Garden, Rangers were run out of the building. Devils beat them 4-1. Devils scored the first 4 goals of the game. Esa Tikkanen had a late goal, just cosmetic, broke up Brodor's shutout. It was 4-1 win. They go to the Meadowlands, and it looked like the Rangers were dead. And then the Devils jump out to a 2-0 lead. So think about it. They had scored 6 of the last 7 goals in the series towards the end of the second period. But then Kovalev scores to make it 2-1, and then Messier does his thing in the third period. They win that game, and then they win in double overtime in Game 7. So if you're looking for that symmetry, maybe there is something there to, hey, this is the adversity that you're going to have to face. It's hard to win a Stanley Cup, and it looked like the Rangers were dead in '94, and they got off the mat, had the huge Game 6 win on the road, and they go on to win the series. But the question is, who's Mark Messier, Peter? Who is going to be the catalyst Because we knew Messier was a champion in Edmonton, but we didn't know what this Ranger team was going into that Game 6 against the Devils. We didn't know whose banners were going to be up in the rafters, whose number was going to be retired, who's going to be remembered. It was that moment where Messier became the Messiah and Kovalev became a superstar player and Richter was playing out of his mind. We knew these players were good, Peter, but the legend was born in that Game 6 and 7 and then what they did against Vancouver. So we know this Rangers team is good. They won the President's Trophy like the Rangers did in '94. But now they're faced adversity. They're up against it. People are starting to lose belief, already thinking about the offseason. Who's going to be the guy? Is it Trocheck? Is it Kreider? Is it Banajat? Panarin? Is it Fox? Who's going to be the guy, Peter? Somebody's going to have to step it up. Who's going to do something this weekend that's going to get their number in the Garden Rafters, that's going to get a standing ovation when they attend a game 30 years from now?
Breaking news here. Unfortunate news for me. I'm not excited to see this.
Porzingis?
No. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul has been postponed.
Oh, shocking. But because of what happened with Mike?
Yeah. They... It says, unfortunately, it is temporarily off due to that ulcer flare-up that they thought wouldn't be a thing, but it would limit Tyson's training over the next several weeks. So he's going to be fine, but in order to have a full training camp, they're now going to postpone it till later this year, still at AT&T Stadium, but it is postponed. No Tyson Paul on July 20th.
Wow. Well, July 20th, we could still maybe get it before the summer's over.
But I feel like with
Labor Day weekend vehicle.
Yeah, I wonder if that's where they go, because it won't be within a month. If they postpone, it'll be minimum, I'd say. Yeah, that's why, Don, it wouldn't be, because that would only be 5 weeks later. If you're worried about anything like that, it's minimum a couple of months. But I feel like you want to do it I wonder pre-Thanksgiving, around then. I feel like when fights get postponed, you almost look to the next season, right? Doesn't it feel like that's what happens?
This year, so right. So
later, yeah. So I guess the latest it would be Thanksgiving-ish. Could be the late. I mean, that's what I would think. So Tyson Paul off for now. Let's go to Kevin in New Jersey.
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Hey, I said Kreider and the Zibanejad line, right? We don't have someone that's rough and tough going in there. We need to put Goodrow up on that right side. Platoon him there. Let him go there. Let him double shift in there. He'll do the dirty work. Kreider doesn't do the dirty work. He'll do the dirty work.
Yeah, but you also need him, to be the defensive guy as well. I mean, so I like the fact that he's got 6 goals in the postseason. I like what you're talking about, but then we lose him in other areas that are important, like winning faceoffs, trying to protect the lead. So I don't think they'd go there. You lose them too much in other areas.
Don, I want to honor the tease I had earlier.
What was that?
And you may not agree with me, because we don't always agree on the subject.
No, that's what makes for a good show, no?
But I'm sorry. Phil Mushnick's tribute to Bill Walton, who he was friends with.
Oh, no.
NBA legend Bill Walton was much more than just his hippie persona, where he goes on to explain how they became friends, which is a nice story. And even though I sort of despise Phil, I enjoyed the part of the story of how they got to know each other. But then he talks about sort of different ways that different things Bill said, none of which were in any way sort of edgy or controversial or way outside what you would thought of him. But he makes a point to multiple times say he's not the hippie you thought he was. He was a social conservative. And I was just like, I don't know. I never heard Bill Walton express that while he was living. Is it your place when he's gone to make that the focal point? To be like, just so you know, he's like me. He just didn't tell you that?
You're unbelievable.
Don, I know.
Did he give examples on why that was the case?
Yeah, and the things that he gave examples of, I guess you could say, are socially conservative, but not in the way Phil. I mean, Phil has a couple of modes of his sort of conservative approach. Like some are in like sort of traditional conservative values. Like one thing, for example, that I'm sure they would be on the same page about. It used to drive Walton crazy, he said, that players started wearing headphones everywhere because it seemed like they like wanted to be disconnected from fans. And that drove Walton nuts.
That's a conservative view,
but that's my.
Or is that just an old? You know, he probably had some opinions that were more leaning towards the left. But I think a lot of people. Here's the not wanting to use headphones is not a political statement.
And here's the part that if I were to dare to say it, I would say makes this guy a son of a bitch. I'm sorry to say it in this moment after someone's not there to say anything. And I'd be so curious to what Walton's family would say. The end of it, he writes. Now, what am I going to do with all these emails from Walton? And again, the personal emails from him part, I thought it was a nice touch, and I enjoyed that. I'm not that biased, even if I don't like someone. He said, now what am I going to do with all these emails from Walton, especially those that shared our view of sports in social decay? He was, in the end, like me, an early 1970s hippie who graduated to a responsible reality, mortgage and taxes included. I mean, it's nice that you painted a story for you, and that's fine. That's what you are, Phil. But the guy was still wearing tie-dye shirts on television until he was 70. He's been to 850 dead shows. You guys are not the same guy. I don't care what Bill Walton's social beliefs are, but I know that he never portrayed himself to be the person that you did in this eulogy, if you will. That's a weird approach to me.
But I also don't think that somebody that wore tie-dyed and go see Grateful Dead shows would also be okay with players being disconnected to the fans or players kind of running the show. And like, why does one have something?
Yeah, why does one?
Other?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Because I think that you could be very liberal in your thinking and a free spirit, but also be old school when it comes to sports and how you should conduct yourself and all that. I mean, that's
here are the examples he get. Here are some of the examples.
All right.
He says he didn't like the headphones. He described it as a keep-away wall to separate players from the public. He despised trash talking and post-play showboating.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy when you see that there's really no one moment. You're waiting. Once after a player was needlessly and viciously slammed to the floor, the victim lay writhing in agony, while Walton's play-by-play partner tried to excuse the unconcerned perpetrator's act as not malicious. Thus, the injured opponent was the victim of nothing worse than an accident. That's easy for you to say, said Walton. He's not your kid. That none of these things are about him being a conservative. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If he was, by the way, if he was, and you told stories about like how really these political beliefs, but to really try to shape in someone's passing their belief system to be the one that you've espoused nonstop for 30 years, to me it's disingenuous and a bad guy thing to do. It's self-serving after someone who you cared about passed away. It's a bad job, Phil. It's a bad job. More K-Show next, right here on 98.7 ESPN New York and Yes.
Break up with. This is the moment.
That's entertainment. This stuff.
This is the matchup you live for.
Streaming now on the Yes app.
22. In the 2003 postseason, you smashed a Tim Wakefield knuckleball. It took you 22 seconds to trot around the bases.
What was going through my head was soak this in.
Streaming now exclusively on the Yes app.
Rated casino apps. But you don't have to believe us. You don't have to believe 80,000 five-star reviews. Because you can try it for yourself with 5 free spins.
Hey, you're missing zeros there.
50 free spins.
One more zero.
500 free spins.
500 free spins. Guaranteed. Winnings paid in cash.
Paid in cash? This is a lot. Download Hard Rock Bet before someone changes their mind.
Shop the Memorial Day sale at Sherwin-Williams
rooms and transform your space with color. Get 30% off paints and stains with sale prices starting at $34.29. Find your new color May 24th through June 3rd. Shop online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Our incredible same-game parlay gets even better when you add Profit Boost. You can still combine all of your favorite selections to increase your potential winnings, but now we're giving you the option to boost your profit up to an extra 30%. Look out for a Profit Boost on select games and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
This is the GMC Sierra, powered by the TurboMax engine, with the confidence of 430 pound-feet of best-in-class standard torque. GMC Sierra, it's the truck. Get 1.9% APR on select 2024 Sierra 1500 models, or current eligible GMC owners get over $7,800 total value. We are professional grade GMC.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
Mom! Yeah? I fell. Okay, there's bandages in the cabinet. I'm bleeding. Grab 2.
Sheba, what cats want.
Watch the Yankees Hyundai Sunday Game of the Week, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Hyundai, there's joy in every journey. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. The Rangers are on the ropes and on the brink of elimination after dropping Game 5 to the Panthers at home last night. The Blue Shirts did take the lead on a shorthanded tally by Chris Kreider in the second, but then the Panthers lit the lamp the next 3 times. The final one coming with Igor Shesterkin on the bench after they pulled the goalie. The Rangers did add a goal late off the stick of Alexei Lafreniere, but they lose the game 3-2. Now, just like in 1994, they have to stave off elimination on the road. However, Mark Messier isn't in the locker room making any guarantees. Someone has to step up, though. Will it be Shesterkin? He has been standing on his head the whole series, evidenced by the streak you see here, but maybe he puts it into another gear and helps the Rangers get back to the Garden for a Game 7. That would be Monday night. But the Blue Shirts have to win Saturday to force the Panthers to make one more trip to the Big Apple.
Anthony, that really affected you, that speech, huh?
It was moving.
Well,
it was big. It was important, and it needed to be point guard.
I mean, listen, I will say, while we're being a little sarcastic, as you pay attention to it, it is something. Trust me.
It affected one of our callers. That kind of made me go back to look at it. And it was like, if you can have somebody call up to realize I am now a suburban dad, I think that's a win.
It's impressive. Don, I hope you're not, upset.
No, why?
Is that did I win the week?
I think Don won the week.
No.
There's only 4. We had a caller win one, Peter won one, Don won the other 2, I believe.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But if you did win, I'd be happy for you.
Right, because you're a teammate. Let's hear from Rich in Comac. Hey, Rich.
Hey, guys. So I'm in the car with my 1-year-old, who he actually turns 1 tomorrow, son. So if he starts crying at any minute, I apologize. Thank you, guys. Big fan of the LeGreckenberg vehicle that we have going on the last couple days. Don kind of touched on it before, but the vibes in '94 before Game 6, I know the team pulled it off, but what were the fans like? Because I'm in full spiral panic mode, and I got to hear from you.
Yeah. Oh, and Don, also in your answer, will you tell me how the crowd was last night?
I thought the crowd was great. I really did. I thought I understand what Joey Clams is saying. It's corporate, but I thought it was loud. And I tell you what, I don't know what it is, but if there's ever a Nick in the building during a Ranger game, like during the regular season, there will be a nice ovation, but nothing over the top. It's kind of like the same ovation that any of the other celebrities would get.
Oh, I know where you're going. I wasn't even there for this, but I know where this has to be going.
But I forget exactly what Nick's, but it was.
Oh, I know. No, I know it was. I know.
Go ahead.
So last night they showed Jalen Brunson, Rick Brunson, Josh Hart, and Thibodeau.
And the place absolutely exploded, which tells me that these teams were indeed connected, and the Knicks are totally still a thing. So I'm not saying this next Ranger fans don't root for each other, but I think it really became a thing. Like it really that was as loud as when the Rangers scored a goal. It was that crazy when they were introduced on the Jumbotron. But to answer his question about what was the vibe 30 years ago, that was over. Remember, because the Rangers were cursed. They hadn't won since 1940. It was a chant at the Meadowlands. It was a chant at the Coliseum. And it was typical Rangers. They tease you, and they're going to lose to all teams, the Devils. The vibe was they were done. They got blown out of the building in Game 5, and it was just going to be over. And the Rangers didn't let it happen. So I don't feel like it's as negative, because maybe there is the connection to 94 where there are still some people that believe. But to my recollection, and we can have a Ranger fan to call to tell me that was not the case, but remembering it on talk radio and all that the series was over, they were done, and they got off the mat. So why can't this Ranger team do the same thing? But who's going to be the catalyst?
I do love seeing this connection, though, between the fan bases and the teams. It's very cool. Let's go to Mark in Ridgefield. Hey, Mark.
Hi, guys. I love the show. I grew up in San Diego, and Bill
Santiago, yes. Mm-hmm.
That's right. It sounds like Santiago. Anyway, Bill Walton was in a high school, Helix High School, which was a competitor of our high school, but we really sucked, and his team was great. But in any case, part of a tournament, I saw him in the stands and sat behind him. And, of course, because he was so tall and I'm kind of short, I asked him to move a little bit. But in any case, I had no idea that he was going to become such a great star and a great guy. So just wanted to share that with you guys.
Well, that's nice, man. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. And you didn't know what a conservative he'd end up. Just a really hardcore conservative, according to Phil Mushner. Let's close it out. Last call of the day. Let's go to Tony in Bayonne. Hey, Tony.
How you doing, guys?
How you doing?
How are you?
Good. Don, I want to ask you about Zibanejad. You think he's a little intimidated by these bigger Panthers? It's just unless he's dealing with something, he's just trying to avoid contact. He's just non-existent. And sometimes when they put the camera on him, he's got this, like, deer in the headlights look in his face. And
I wouldn't say intimidated. I would say frustrated. that there's no room, there's just no chance to make a play. Now, is he suffering from something? I would not be surprised. Not to make excuses, but it happens every year. If the Rangers are eliminated, we're going to get a laundry list of guys. This one's going to need surgery. This one got an MRI, because that's just kind of the way things go when you get this deep into the playoffs. And it could certainly explain the play of some players, I think, especially Adam Fox. But I just look at Zibanejad as a guy that's really frustrated that there's just not the room that you usually see. And it's been a long time since he has not been able to contribute to this level. So I don't think it's intimidation. I think it's frustration.
That's it. It's time for a huge ENN Next right here on the K Show on 98.7 ESPN New York. And yes,
a summer celebration of soccer is coming to the Bronx. 4 teams, 2 days, 1 Yankee Stadium. World champions Man City open it up with a boogie-down battle versus Italian giants Milan on Saturday, July 27th. Before New York City FC welcomes Mexican side Querétaro to the BX for an MLS vs. Liga MX showdown and Leagues Cup on Sunday, July 28th. It's the world's game, and it's the world's city. Only in New York City.
Choose between Reese's Legendary Cup and the new metal shape? That's like trying to pick between Alex Morgan and Sophia Smith.
You don't have to choose. Same team.
So I get both Reese's?
Actually, we get both Reese's.
Salonpas Lidocaine Flex, a super thin, flexible patch with maximum OTC strength lidocaine that contours to the body to relieve pain right where it hurts. And did we mention it really, really sticks? Salonpas, it's good medicine.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yeah, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sorts you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
It really doesn't matter what your politics are. With the military, these people are serving our country, and they need help. The United States is so much better than every other country. And it would not happen without people who risk their lives, and that's who you're supporting.
I want to hear what you rate the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Right, which is always high pressure when I'm sitting right next to the guy. It's like, but we'll give it 10, even though I don't generally give 10s. That's a rookie score. But we'll give it 10. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't a 10.
So let's do good together.
Let's do it.
Al, did you make that call?
Honey, we already have Medicare. Why do I need to call?
Alan, the Feldman said we may be able to get additional benefits with a Medicare Advantage plan right here in our zip code.
Honey, what do you mean additional benefits? We turned 65, we got Medicare. That's all there is to it, right?
I'm talking about Medicare Part C, commonly called Medicare Advantage. We have traditional Medicare, which is only Medicare Parts A and B, but not Part C.
Wait. So not everyone on Medicare is a Part C plan?
No, that's why we need to call, because there may be plans available with additional benefits.
What kind of extra benefits?
If you're losing coverage, moving, or new to Medicare, call 800-820-7593 now to speak with a licensed insurance agent. Give them your zip code and see if there's a Part C plan with additional benefits available to you in your area that may better fit your needs. If you don't have a Medicare Part C plan, call now because there may be plans with additional benefits available. Medicare plans and benefits can change each and every year. If you're on Medicare, you can call now even if you called last year. If you feel like your original Medicare plan isn't giving you everything you need, call to find out if you're eligible to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan. We will check to see if there is a Part C plan available in your area with additional benefits. You don't get a plan with additional benefits automatically, so call to speak with a licensed insurance agent. Remember, you don't get Medicare Part C plan benefits automatically. Call now for your free 2024 no-obligation Medicare benefits review. If you're losing coverage, moving, or new to Medicare, call 800-820-7593 now. Call 800-820-7593. 800-820-7593.
I was diagnosed at 65.
37. Earlier than most.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
Will be in transit heading back from the West Coast.
Who's Mike?
Michael K. I will
I'm familiar with his work.
Along with Don and Peter. And this, of course, is ENN, brought to you by Security Dodge. Go see Michelle Scalisi and...
Come get some!
Stereo Michelle. I don't know. It's a Friday. We can do what we want.
That's right. I'm right. We can.
I'd like to start off by saying good evening to Don.
Well, this horse is on its way to the glue factory.
That's not what you want to hear.
So sad for the horse.
Yeah, when you think about what's happening, you know what I mean? Like the fact that Don's there with the horses.
With the horses.
The horses, if you will.
That's right. Good evening to Don and Peter.
I didn't pack the cloth button.
Oh, no.
And Don.
Complaining about the negativity of Michael K.
That's
one of the new female rappers out there.
That was very.
I don't know. Oh boy, Don again.
Oh, that was the sound. Yeah, see, Don, that's not death rattle.
I think if the horse makes that noise, as Don would say, glue factor.
Oh boy, a lot is going on here right now.
Peter,
there's a rumor out there, Don, that every horse you've ridden, they had to immediately euthanize.
That's even worse. That's just not nice.
That is worse, isn't it?
That was sad. That's just not nice. Don and Peter again.
The Roots Picnic?
Actually, I just looked up.
You're familiar with the Roots, right?
Maybe it's just a coincidence, but the name of my horse is euthanasia.
Is that true?
Yeah.
No.
By the way, Don just fought through that drop.
He really did.
It was like Joey Clams fighting through Don yesterday.
Oh man.
Do it again.
All right, here we go.
The Roots Picnic?
I'm not familiar.
You're familiar with the Roots, right?
I'm not sure.
The caller that inspired the point guard.
I just turned 30. I'm losing my hairline. I got a sweater vest last week.
And Joey Clams.
By the way,
this is the playoffs. You don't dance.
By the way, I love how the caller is like legitimately concerned. Yeah, I love it.
And he was 30.
But he's seeing that he's doing.
You issued him a warning.
Yeah, I'm trying to help people out. Like you be mindful.
Of course, you got to be mindful.
Just be mindful of these things.
Being mindful is important. Speaking of being mindful, Peter, don't we have a very special giveaway on ESPN New York?
Look at that. This is a tradition like no other.
Are you kidding me? You talking about the home team?
Oh, the home team, of course.
Oh,
Who
yeah,
else would
come
I be
on.
talking about?
Go to the ESPN New York app right now. What are you waiting for? Click on travel with the home team. You might get a trip to Beantown with the boys from the Bronx. You kidding me?
I don't know who those people are, but I'm glad you didn't say the name.
You can't. It's all brought to you by Corona, the official cerveza of Major League Baseball.
I mean, how else can you do that? Come on.
I'm the goat. I'm the goat for a reason.
That is pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing.
ENN is AKA catch up on all the reads that Peter forgot.
No, it was only one.
It was actually no. It was a very good day. We got Beach Bash in there. That was you, Don. You set that one up very nicely today. And since we're talking about an unnamed team, let's get you the Yankee pitching matchup tonight, brought to you by CertaPro Painters, because a lineup's not going to happen for a 10-15 game.
First pitch.
We don't get the 9:45s. We ain't getting the 10-15, but we do know that it's Marcus Stroman for the Yankees, 4-2 with a 2.76 against recently new starter for the Giants, Jordan Hicks. Remember, he was a reliever for the Cardinals. He is 4-1 with a 2.33 ERA this season. That is the Yankee pitching matchup tonight, brought to you by CertaPro Painters. When choosing a painting professional for your home or business, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
You give good lineup.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. Also, we found this in the archives.
Go and grab your cleanest suit and go and comb your hair. We're going on a b-ball adventure. Ramona Shelburne's there. And I guarantee you one thing, then it guaranteed to me.
Bad line.
You will see Brian Windhorse, because it's Windhorse at sea. Windhorse at sea. Windhorse at sea.
I think that's Willie Wilson.
Come and go This was my best friend.
Well, that's verse 2. I started going deep into his biography.
There's a lot going on there. That was great, though.
You know what? It was better than I remembered. I got to tell you, though, nothing makes me feel like a bigger loser.
Oh.
On planet Earth.
Well, that's sad.
And this, by the way, all of you should be included in this.
Interesting.
Don, Michael, Anthony, the whole radio station. Then the fact that we've done this entire bit about Windhorse for 5 years.
Oh, sure.
There has never been an acknowledgement from Windhorse. Like,
we suck.
Like, by the way, it's like it's Brian Windhorse. With all due respect, he does a great job, but we're not referencing Tom Cruise and hoping that he's going to hear about it. It's a guy who covers basketball and works for our company, and we're on the biggest radio station that the company owns, and we've been doing a bit about the guy for 5 years. Don, there's not a sniff, not a retweet, not a mention.
I'm assuming then bad guy.
Now, well,
I think Torts nailed it.
So here's the question. Do you think that he has never heard it or heard about it, didn't take to it, and ignored it?
Yeah, it's probably the latter. I'm sure he's heard about it.
Yeah.
We run in the same circle, so he either is a bad guy, which I don't think he is.
I don't think he's a bad guy.
Or it's that he's not sure where we're coming from, thinks maybe we're making fun of him, and choose to ignore it.
Yeah, if anything, good guy doesn't want to call out fellow coworkers about a song he thinks that is us making fun of him.
But honestly, he should be flattered. It comes from a place of love. Peter's a big fan.
Windhorse in space.
I mean, talking about him and his ubiquitousness or some whatever it is.
It was a nice try there, Don.
I know.
I liked it.
Don, you get nervous for the race?
No, I'm nervous for the horse.
R.I.P. little guy.
Oh, we'll be seeing that down the road, I'm sure.
Yeah, and a bottle
came
of
over last week, actually, massaged my inner thighs.
You know what? We didn't play that back enough this week.
Oh God, it was so good. Because I was looking back, I realized it was like 2 weeks since I looked at my short list for Drop Madness next year, and that had to go into the nether region.
Yeah, perfect.
I just wanted to know.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a really tightly contested nether region this year.
I love Bobby. Michael Spink standing with me with my nightstick in his hand.
I got to tell you.
There is a clear, in my opinion, number one, and I'm going to say this and Peter's going to get mad at me, Duke seed.
Oh, boy.
That's just, it's there. It's always going to be there no matter who comes up later in the year. It's just going to...
It's a really dumb...
Hang up on it!
It is a real...
Don, please.
I put that... you keep everything in order. That one just at number one, and it hasn't moved.
It was a moment. It was a moment in time.
But it is crazy that we're not even through May. Like 10 months away, and it's a thing.
I've got 16, I think, in each region already.
Horse manure.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. It's a good...
Spit in your face.
Oh, boy. Spit in your face, too.
That is... We had some very good moments, guys. Very, very, very good moments.
It's a good show.
It's a great show. It's a great show. I encourage everybody to listen. As we've talked about a little bit today, the Mavs did beat the Timberwolves last night. It was pretty much over when it started. Luka Doncic had a monster first quarter, 21 of his 36 points. They built up a 29-point halftime lead, did the Mavs. It was the largest at the break by a team that had a chance to clinch a finals trip in NBA history, and they won Game 5 124-103 to reach the finals for the third time in franchise history, and the first since winning in 2011 when Jason Kidd was the point guard. They beat LeBron and the Heat, if you remember correctly.
I think we should bring back that Nike ad during the final, Peter.
Which one?
Jason Kidd. Remember that one?
No.
Back in the 90s?
No.
I like the roomies and they gave him an echo. Isn't that cool, Peter?
I don't remember it.
Joe Leo, find it. You'll find it
find
right there.
Find it.
Jason Kidd, the truth.
Well, here's
it's a really good spot. Find it, Joe. Find it. You need to make up for earlier.
Oh, wow. Don still remembers. Don never forgets. The comfortable Joe Leo. Jason Kidd talking about Luka's leadership.
Yeah, I thought you talk about our leaders. Luka came out and set the tone offensively and defensively. I thought he let everybody know he was ready to play. I thought we followed his lead. I thought, again, for a half, we played at a high level. And in the third quarter, I thought we continued to play there and we continued to keep our lead. And I thought, again, Luka was able to be aggressive, and then Kai joined the party, and when those two are going, again, for them to come back after maybe not again game 4, those two were at a high level, and they carried us tonight.
Who does he, don't say Jason Kidd, who does he sound like?
Just like Kidd.
Yeah. Trying to think. We've played sound that sounds just like Jason Kidd all year, and that we haven't played Jason Kidd a lot at all. Kyrie Irving, how does this moment feel?
It feels great, man. Definitely don't take this moment for granted because of how hard we had to work to get here, and we had to earn our spot into the NBA Finals, and we had to go against some great opponents, and I feel like they got us better as a team. They really challenged us on the defensive end, made us focus in, and I thanked every single one of them, like I did the previous 2 series, for making me better. And it has been 7 long years, but it's also felt like the right amount of time, in order to reward myself, be in the locker room with my teammates and enjoying it. A long time coming, so we are going to enjoy this, but we obviously know this is just a pit stop in the journey, and we got to get ready for, that court turning gold, as I like to say. As a kid, that's what you dream of, getting to is the finals and being able to play against the best of the best with the whole world watching.
This was a topic today on ESPN proper. Which team has the better duo, Doncic and Kyrie, or Brown and Tatum? I don't know if I have a clear answer to this.
It's a very good question. It's what makes this such a thrill.
I lean Mavs.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I really like Brown. And Tatum is a superstar, regardless of whether people think he's like a top 5 superstar or not. But Doncic and Kyrie, man, when Kyrie's playing like this, that is a tough duo to beat, as the West just saw. Peter, you're a Celtic fan. Do you have is it hard for you to?
Well, let's see.
What if you rank the 4 players?
Well, that's what I was going to start with. So shut your face, Fauci. But I would say, God, it's so hard between. I guess Luka's one. I mean, maybe he's ahead of Tatum by a hair. But then if that's true, I mean, honestly, these days people think Tatum's only ahead of Brown by a bit. And by the way, how far off is Kyrie from any of...
And Kyrie on a day could be 2.
On a day, he could be 1.
Could be, yeah.
On the right day?
Yeah.
There are days when you watch Kyrie and you go, no one in the league can stop this guy. He's perfect. So I'll tell you what, it's a really fun debate, but the truth is anyone acting like they have a real answer is lying. Those 4 players are... I don't care. I know Jaylen Brown wasn't all NBA, which is just insane, but I don't care what they say. Those 4 guys are 4 of the best, 10, 12 players in the league.
It should be. I think you're right on this, Peter, whereas there was a lot of blowouts and even though that there were some close series, there were a lot of games that ended up being blowouts. You look at the Knicks-Pacers series, how many of those games ended in blowouts at the end? This is going to be what should be a very competitive NBA Finals.
I think it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. Still don't know if I'm going, but hopefully I find out.
You haven't heard? Well, you got a while. You got to wait.
You do have a while.
Yeah, my hope would be they tell it like Monday. They say they got to. If I'm going to go to game 1 next Thursday, I got to know.
Well, one guy that might be there, Kristaps Porzingis, seems to be doing
Give me an
well.
update, baby.
He's participated in parts of Friday's practice, and Coach Joe Mazzulla said he's pleased with the center's recovery from his right calf strain. They said they're kind of confident where he's at right now. That's not nothing.
Kind of confident?
Kind of confident.
Kind of wanted better.
He's out there shooting, went through a couple drills in practice, progressing well. You have the time to kind of ramp him up slowly.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I thought he'd be completely good to go at this point.
Well, listen, I don't know. I mean, remember how they said Giannis, there's a chance he can come back in that series? And that was really never going to be a thing. And then when Porzingis had the injury, it's like you're looking at conference finals. I wonder what this injury would be looking like if we're talking like middle of the regular season. Like, is this like he's going to be out for 2 months? Like maybe he's pushing himself. Maybe Giannis tried to push himself to get back from this calf strain. That's obviously a lot more difficult to come back from than just, your garden variety injury. So something to keep an eye on, of course. But the Celtics have been doing just fine without him. But it'll obviously to be at full strength against the Mavs. Yeah.
I think that's the difference, though. I think that minus Porzingis, they could lose this series. I think with Porzingis, he creates enough of a matchup issue for basically everyone, including Dallas, that I love the Celtics if, in fact, they have Porzingis.
Oh, you'll love this one. This is in the article by Tim Bontemps on ESPN.com right now. The quote from Joe Mazzulla is, "I'm confident where he's at on whatever day today is."
Okay. Thank you.
That's great. That's just great.
You love to hear it.
Yeah. Now, you'd mentioned this, Peter, and I'm really curious your take on it, because Gable Steveson, I should say, who I knew as a WWE superstar, and an Olympic gold medalist, of course, signing with the Bills, I guess, as a defensive lineman. He's one of the most dominant college wrestlers in NCAA history. He signed a standard rookie 3-year deal and will set out to join Bob Hayes, as you said, as the only other athlete to win a Super Bowl ring and an Olympic gold medal. He's 6'1", 275. Peter, I know he's an amazing athlete. Like, I didn't know much about a football background for him, if there was any. Like, do you think? I mean, I'm not expecting him to be like a 10-sack guy, but do you think that with the way that he's built and his mindset, like, he could be a contributor on a Bills team that probably has big aspirations this season?
I have no clue what this guy's skill set would be in football. I don't know how, like, was he a serious football player?
I gotta look it up.
Because to be at the level of wrestler that he was, how much time could you have for serious football?
He has never played football at any level.
At any level.
D-line, Don. D-line. A lot of technique there.
And it's funny, he's not a hugely imposing guy when you see him, in my opinion. How tall is Gable Steveson?
6'1", 275.
Yes. Okay, that is pretty big. But when you honest, let me just say this, though.
Compared to other D linemen?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. So, like, he sounds big, but, like, to be a guy who's getting blocked by Trent Williams, he doesn't feel that big.
So that's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see.
Fascinating. And they signed him? It's an actual signing?
3-year standard rookie deal.
Okay.
So they're I guess whatever he went to the facility and he worked out with them, whatever. They were impressed with what they saw and think they can get something out of him. So,
but these NFL contracts aren't guaranteed. Matter of fact, the NFL actually has the right to go to your bank and take the money out if they want.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
I did not know that.
Very little risk for the Bills.
Wow. That's amazing. So we'll see what happens with that. That's kind of an interesting story to keep an eye on here. And for some of you thinking that's a local story. The Mets have made some moves today, Don. Curious your thoughts. Christian Scott, the stud pitcher, the stud prospect pitcher that they had, and Brett Beatty have been sent down to AAA. And this is a day, of course, after designating Jorge Lopez for assignment. One of the things we didn't play from David Stearns a couple days ago was that it's going to be untenable to have Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos both on this roster, both without a spot, and trying to give them as many at-bats as they need to continue on and be successful. So I guess Beatty was the odd man out there because Vientos has really just been hitting better.
Well, the writing was on the wall. His batting average was down to 227 after a pretty quick start to the season. And the Scott stuff is just because of this trip to London. He's going to, miss time, and they want him to get a start down in AAA because I guess they're getting some time off the front end and the back end of this trip. So I think that's what they were just trying to do, is just not have him sit idle because of this yo-yo, let's forward baseball, because it's doing so well in this country. Get people in London excited about it. Morons.
Michael will be going there.
Look for him. He's going to do a great job, but stop. Will you stop? Stop it.
Stop it.
The Mets have also selected the contract of Jose Iglesias, the 34-year-old. You guys remember him. Hasn't been in the MLB since 2022. So he is now up from the Syracuse Mets. And Stearns also said they're going to need a middle infielder. That certainly fits the bill. The Yankees actually traded Luis Torrens, a catcher, to the Mets for cash. And they designated the Mets Omar Narvaez for assignment. So they're also making a change of catcher. So a couple of shakeups here on this roster.
Yeah, well, it's time, right? Let's shake it up.
Not everything that you were looking for right away, Don, but I'm assuming that that's going to happen soon. Pete Alonso actually ended up hitting a pinch hit double.
Give me some good news. Oh, there you go.
And the Mets won that game against the Diamondbacks last night on a J.D. Martinez home run to break a 2-2 tie. And they get a chance to do it again tonight at Citi Field.
Do you guys think Richard was excited last night? You think that the Mets game? What was Rich? What was
That was you, Don.
That was. Hey, Don, you get nervous for the race?
No, I'm nervous for the horse.
And by the way, that sound, let's play it again.
What do you mean, this one?
It sounds like the horse at the end of the race, the death rattle. After Don gets off that poor horse's back, that's the sound it makes. One more time.
Harness race. I'm not on the horse.
It's so good.
What noise was he making?
The first time that Michael hears that one, there was something else. Oh, the Fauci thing that Michael's going to learn when he comes back.
Yeah, a lot's happened in the last week. You know, I'm very excited. Very excited for this weekend, guys. I ordered all the. Hey, Donnie.
Yes.
You remember the Time Life Mysteries of the Unknown series?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I'm going to be locked in this weekend reading about Stonehenge.
What about Stonehenge? Don't
Shut up, Fauci. You wouldn't know a damn thing about it. You're too busy injecting your Fugazi vaccine in people's arms to appreciate nature. But I'll be locked in. This weekend, me and Rogan are going to get together, drop some shrooms, and get into a big old YouTube orgy. Learn about some of the past wars that you don't know about, some of the most important things that affect this great nation.
You think anything about the Tyson Fury postponement, Rogers, is legit, or do you think that there's something more?
Well, here's the thing: Tyson Fury's fight isn't postponed. Fauci, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul is postponed, but you wouldn't know. You probably have a syringe stuck in your eyeball, you quack.
Well, you would think that maybe Tyson's problems are because of the vaccination.
You know, that is a good point, Donnie. He did have an ulcer, so that could be related to any numerous vaccines. Just ask my friend Bobby.
That's as good a time as any to say that was ENN brought to you by Security Dodge.
Yeah.
Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com during their Memorial Day sales event. Have a great weekend, everybody. Just enjoy.
And you too. Good job, Anthony, the whole week. And yeah, if you did miss it earlier, Tyson Paul is off. No longer July 20th. They're going to make it up later in the year because of Tyson's ulcer flare-up. Don, good luck on the horse. And most importantly, good luck to the horse. Go Rangers. And we'll see you guys on Monday.
That's a wrap on the show for today and this week. Don't forget, coming up at 9:30, our coverage of the Yankees and Giants gets underway with the pregame show. For all of us here on the Michael K. Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. Enjoy the game. Enjoy your weekend. We will see you Monday at 3 o'clock. The Michael K. Show on Yes is presented